You know, it's amazing how technology's taken over, right? Okay, so I remember looking back and you know, the internet's great in researching this, but I think the long driver like in 1993 was 288. I mean, that's the average. That's the average.
You're getting
now.
You're getting laughed off the course now.
Exactly. You're a short ball hitter at 288 these days.
The 15 handicappers at the club that are 70 years old are hitting a 288.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also we went through the Tiger era. So I, you know, was prior to Tiger, and Tiger really in 2000, really started in 1997. He came on the PGA Tour, but I'd say he really took over and brought golf to the next level. And at that time, I was working for Jim McLean. And so I saw a lot of these parents bringing their kids at such young ages to the school. And they really wanted their kid to become the next Tiger Woods. All the way from China, Japan, you name it. I mean, they'd come in for months. But the golf side of things has changed so much from, you know, Americans really leading the pack. Now it's a global tour. Right? I mean, there's people from all over the world that are in the top 25 right now.
Well, I want to kind of go back just a little bit, because you said something when you started this business with Lux, is at that point you knew people in the area, the movers and the shakers, and you started getting involved with them and inviting them in to see the product. You know, I think that's an important takeaway for you listening. Make sure you write this down when Jason talks about it, is you did something that was necessary to grow the business. If you could take us back to that and say, hey, give us an idea of what that process was like, because Lux was a brand new company, right?
It was, and that's a great question. And Michael Burke approached me with that. You know, I said, why me? You know, he says, well, you're connected to the desert and you're connected to golf. That's been your life, okay? He said, I really want to use this as a tool, okay, for Lux to get on the board globally, okay? So back to square one, I said that the first thing that we have to do is we have to design our own chassis, okay? Nobody else has done that in the industry except for the big three, right? Club Car, E-Z-GO, and Yamaha, okay? And then a lot of other people were piggybacking off that, especially Club Car. They were using the Club Car frame. So they'd buy a fleet of golf cars, strip it down, and build off their frame. But we wanted to have our own brand, our own specific golf cart, and that's the Lux brand.
So that's the Lux brand we're seeing here. Yeah.
So, you know, in conjunction with that was my connection with golf, okay? And it was really interesting when I started Lux and I started going out and telling people our story and what we wanted to do with Lux. And there was a lot of key players, a lot of really big hitters in the industry that I went to. And it was really interesting. They all said basically the same thing. Jason, I like you. I've known you a long time, but I don't know your product. Yeah. And your product has to be proven in order to go to my members and say, I highly recommend this product. So,
can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Because that is so true, Jason, with so many people that are starting out, whether they're, you know, a local brick and mortar, or they're trying to, you know, they're trying to be a coach or whatever it may be, is, hey, we know that works, but we don't know if the product is as good as it is, because that's that first, if you will, push up against something that people a lot of times will give up. You obviously, I look around here and we have a showroom that's doing well and activity. You decided that wasn't a roadblock. How did you handle that?
It really was shocking to me that I said, boy, I think I should have these carts and these properties, you know, quickly, you know. And so it was a little bit shocking that they said, hey, you know, let's just see what happens here, right? And slowly you'll start to get carts out there, and I'll start to get feedback, meaning the directors of golf, the general managers of these different properties here locally. And we started locally, obviously. And once we started to get a few out there, and we really pressed the flesh when we did this. I mean, it was 7 days a week, you know, 10-hour days, grinding, trying to get into demo days, trying to have open houses here for the GMs, the directors of golf, outside service attendants that are fantastic because they're really in the face of a lot of the members. And so it really took a long time for us to build upon that. But slowly, as we started to get product into these different clubs, and we started to become recognized as a superior product. And I really think that came from the design of the Lux frame. We put more reinforcements into our frame than any other frame. It gave it a more stable ride. Of course, it goes a little faster than the standard golf cart does. So we really knew we had to engineer that frame properly for us to get above the rest of our competition, which I think over time we've gotten there. Now we really are a known product nationally, you know, and we're trying to expand upon that now.
Well, I know that, you know, a lot of times when somebody starts a business, they have to kind of, you have that unique selling proposition. And you spotted it right away when you spoke to Michael, the owner of the company, that said, hey, we have to build our own frame.
Right.
We can't just piggyback off everybody else, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Tell us what that process was like and what makes the Lux chassis different than those out in the marketplace. It delivers a better ride and that type of thing.
Well, it really went to, I had my opinion. Okay, Michael doesn't have a golf background. Okay, more of a business background. So I said, you know, let me go out and just ask the questions to the key people, right? To the general managers, to the directors of golf, to even members of clubs, right? And so I started with that. And I said, you know, you have the big three, I've always called it, Club Car, E-Z-GO, Yamaha. All three are built really on a different platform, a different chassis, okay? The material they use is different. So Club Car is built on aluminum, E-Z-GO is built on steel, and Yamaha is built on tubular steel. So I tested those three, and I had, you know, my opinion on those three. And then I expanded from there. And I asked thousands of people, you know, what they really liked. And it came down to Club Car. Really came down to that aluminum that they use, which is T6 aircraft aluminum. So we decided that that's what we were going to build our platform with. But knowing that we were going to have high-speed motors in the car, it needed to be more stable. So what we did at Lux is we made the chassis 4 inches wider than a standard golf cart. And then we put more reinforcements in the tongue, the front of the golf cart. At that time, it was lead-acid battery. So we put more reinforcements into the cavity of that and then strengthened the rear. Okay, so, and then we came out with our frame. And I'll never forget it when we came out with our chassis. We didn't have a top on the car. We didn't have a body on the car. We literally had 4 tires, a motor, controller, wiring, and it became a rolling chassis, we called it.
Wow.
And you don't have a windshield on this car. Okay, and I remember going down the street at our factory here in Palm Desert on Leopard Street, and it was an unbelievable ride. The first thing I noticed was how fast it was because it's so light, right? We didn't have a windshield on it or anything.
But you had seats in it.
We had seats, and that was about it. I wish we had a picture of it because it was hilarious. But it was a really exciting moment with Lux because we really found, hey, we have something here, you know. And so that really started, you know, us building thousands and thousands of golf cars. Once I went back to these directors of golf and I'd say, hey, just try this. I'm not telling you to try and sell it to your members. Just try it. Have your staff drive it, you know. And obviously this costs a lot of money. We're a new company. So we have to build these cars and give them to various clubs throughout the desert. And we started to get really good feedback from them. We also learned a lot at that time. You know, we recommend that, you know, maybe you can move your accelerator pedal to a little bit different spot. You know, we feel that the steering wheel sits a little high. You know, so we made a lot of adjustments based on observations and asking a lot of questions. And so we even, you know, changed the roof supports on the car from, you know, aluminum to steel. And there's just a lot of things that went into making the Lux golf cart.